Did Ryan Reynolds just lose Deadpool to Justin Baldoni and get roasted by Joe Rogan for it? Yeah, you heard that right. The guy who turned a foul-mouthed anti-hero into a Hollywood goldmine might have fumbled the role that made him untouchable. And now the internet's buzzing with whispers that Baldoni, the It Ends With Us director, swooped in to steal the mask. It's wild. Reynolds was Deadpool, the sarcastic king of Marvel chaos, but something went down. And it's ugly. Then there's Joe Rogan, the podcast titan, jumping in to twist the knife with a brutal takedown that's got everyone talking. How does a guy go from ruling the superhero game to being the punchline of a Hollywood horror show? Buckle up. This isn't just gossip. It's a clash of egos, lawsuits, and some seriously bad moves. But how did this chaos even start? It all exploded when Blake Lively called out Justin Baldoni for crossing a line. Picture this. They're on the set of It Ends With Us, a film tackling heavy stuff like domestic abuse, and things are already tense. Blake, fresh off having a kid, says Justin made it unbearable, claims he got too handsy, touching her in ways she didn't sign up for, like putting his bare hands on her backside during a scene, saying it was just to fix her posture. She didn't buy it, and neither did a lot of people watching this unfold. Blake didn't hold back, alleging he trashed the vibe on set, threw shade at her postpartum body, and even let some nasty rumors fly to tank her rep. It's the kind of accusation that makes you sit up straight. Serious, messy, and totally Hollywood. Justin, though? He wasn't about to take it lying down. He fired back, saying it's all nonsense. She's twisting the story. He insists any contact was professional, just part of directing, and he's got footage to prove it. That slow dance scene she complained about, he let the cameras roll, showed the world what really went down, and suddenly Blake's team started backpedaling on some of their wilder claims. Now, here's where it gets juicy. This wasn't just a little on-set spat. It blew up into a full-on war, with lawsuits flying and careers on the line. Blake's camp says Justin's the villain, a guy who couldn't handle her shining brighter than him. His side, they're painting her as a control freak who wanted to hijack his movie because she couldn't stand not calling the shots. By late 2024, this thing had legs. Legal filings, leaked clips, the works. It wasn't just about It Ends With Us anymore, it was personal. And that's when Ryan Reynolds, Blake's husband, and Deadpool himself stepped into the ring. He couldn't let his wife fight alone, right? And that was just the beginning. Ryan Reynolds couldn't stay quiet, and it cost him big. When Blake Lively threw down the gauntlet against Justin Baldoni, her husband wasn't about to sit on the sidelines. This wasn't just a supportive nod from the guy who cracks wise as Deadpool. Reynolds jumped in headfirst, ready to throw punches. Insiders say he was livid about Blake's claims. Justin's alleged handsy behavior and snide remarks about her post-baby figure hit a nerve. So he went full protector mode. Reports claim he confronted Baldoni off-set, getting in his face about the whole mess, and it wasn't pretty. Some say Ryan even leaned on his Hollywood pull, whispering to their shared agency, WME, to ditch Baldoni like yesterday's news. The agency says it didn't happen, but the rumor alone sent shockwaves. Then it got personal. Blake's fight wasn't just her fight anymore. Ryan made it his too. He backed her accusations, amplifying the noise around Justin's supposed smear campaign. But here's the kicker. Reynolds didn't stop at playing knight in shining armor. Word is, he took it further, mocking Baldoni in a way no one saw coming. Think subtle jabs, the kind only a guy with Deadpool's wit could pull off. Some whisper he started weaving little digs into his work. Nothing blatant yet, but enough to raise eyebrows. Baldoni's team caught wind and started fuming, saying Ryan was crossing lines he couldn't uncross. They weren't wrong. This wasn't just a spat anymore. It was a power play. By early 2025, the tension was thick enough to choke on. Reynolds thought his star power could shield Blake and bury Baldoni, but it was a gamble. Justin wasn't some small fry. He had his own clout, and he was ready to swing back harder. Ryan's move to step in didn't just escalate things, it dragged him into a war he might not win. The guy who'd charmed the world with snark and a red suit was now neck-deep in a feud that threatened everything he'd built. And things got even messier. A Deadpool character mocked Baldoni, and fans noticed. By mid-2024, Deadpool and Wolverine hit screens, and Ryan Reynolds wasn't just starring, he was writing and producing too. Buried in the chaos of that film was Nicepool, a Deadpool variant with a man bun, a smug grin, and some seriously shady lines. This guy wasn't your typical fourth-wall-breaking hero. He spouted feminist buzzwords while tossing out digs, like snarking about a woman's post-baby body. That felt way too pointed. Sound familiar? Fans clocked it fast. Nicepool was a spitting image of Justin Baldoni down to the hairstyle he rocked years back. The internet lit up. Was this Reynolds turning a Marvel blockbuster into a personal hit job? Baldoni's camp sure thought so. They called it a cheap shot, a vicious caricature cooked up after Ryan's blowout with Justin. Court filings later revealed they weren't guessing. Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, pointed fingers straight at Reynolds, saying Nicepool was no accident. Evidence piled up. Ryan had pushed for the character after a heated January 2024 clash with Baldoni, tweaking lines to mirror Blake's accusations, like that postpartum jab Justin allegedly made. Then came the kill shot. Nicepool gets offed in the film by Lady Deadpool, voiced by none other than Blake Lively. Art imitating life? More like art swinging a sledgehammer. Baldoni's team sent legal letters to Disney and Marvel, demanding every scrap of paper on Nicepool's creation, claiming it was proof Ryan weaponized Deadpool to bully their guy. Fans were split. Some laughed it off as classic Reynolds mischief, sly, petty, and oh-so Deadpool. Others saw red, calling it tasteless to drag a serious feud into a superhero flick. Hollywood gossip exploded with the theory. Ryan thought he could flex his clout, poke the bear, and walk away clean. But Baldoni wasn't laughing, and neither was the industry. Whispers started swirling that Marvel brass, Kevin Feige and Disney's Bob Iger included, were fuming. A $400 million lawsuit tied to their Golden franchise? That's not the kind of press they signed up for. Reynolds might have thought he was untouchable, but this stunt lit a fuse no one could ignore. And that's when the studios reacted. Marvel had enough, and Baldoni might have swooped in. After Nicepool turned Deadpool and Wolverine into a legal lightning rod, the suits at Marvel and Disney weren't smiling. Picture this. Kevin Feige, the guy who built the MCU, and Bob Iger, Disney's big boss, staring at a stack of legal threats tied to their billion-dollar baby. Reynolds thought he could sneak a jab at Baldoni into the script and call it a day, but that stunt dragged their blockbuster into a $400 million lawsuit mess. Insiders say the studio was livid, not just at the headache, but at Ryan's judgment. He'd always been the golden boy, the rebel who made Deadpool a hit, but now he looked like a liability. Then came the rumors that hit like a freight train. Marvel might bench Reynolds. Word spread fast. Some said they were done with the drama, others claimed they'd been eyeing a shakeup anyway. And who's the name floating around to slip into the red suit? Justin Baldoni. Yeah, the same guy Ryan mocked with Nicepool. It's almost too perfect. Hollywood loves a twist, and this one's got irony dripping from it. No official words dropped, but the chatter's loud. Baldoni's clean slate and directing chops could be a fresh start, a way to dodge the PR nightmare Ryan's feud kicked up. Fans aren't buying it yet. Justin is Deadpool, the rom-com guy. But studios don't care about fan fiction, they care about risk. Reynolds didn't see it coming. He'd blurred the line between himself and Deadpool for years, leaking test footage back in 2014 to force Marvel's hand, winning over the world with his snark. Now that cocky charm was biting him hard. Industry whispers hint other projects are cooling on him too. Big brands pulling back, waiting to see if he's toxic. Meanwhile, Baldoni's sitting pretty, his name's suddenly everywhere, maybe even catching Marvel's eye for more than just payback. Ryan gambled his clout to back Blake and bury Justin, but the house might have won this round. And Rogan had more to say. Joe Rogan grabbed the mic and tore Reynolds apart. Just when Ryan thought the studio heat was bad enough, the podcast king stepped in to make it a public bloodbath. Rogan, with his millions of listeners, didn't hold back. Online buzz claims he lit into Reynolds on a 2025 episode, laughing at how the Deadpool star torched his own career. Ryan thought he was untouchable, he supposedly said, but he played himself right out of the game. No one's dug up the exact clip yet, but the internet's running wild with it. Videos popping up, stitching together Rogan's biting style with the feud's juiciest bits. He didn't just stop at the role swap, he zeroed in on Nicepool, calling it a dumb move by a guy too full of himself to see the cliff. Rogan's take wasn't subtle. He painted Reynolds as a Hollywood golden boy who flew too close to the sun, arrogant, reckless, and now a punchline. You don't mock a dude in your own movie and think it's all good, he's said to have quipped, his voice booming over clips of Nicepool's smug face. The timing couldn't have been worse for Ryan. Marvel's rumored cold shoulder was still fresh, and here's Rogan turning it into a viral roast. Some say he even tossed Baldoni a nod, joking, "Guess Justin's the one laughing now." True or not, it stuck. Rogan's giant platform made sure every fan, hater, and casual scroller heard the smackdown loud and clear. The fallout was brutal. Reynolds, once the internet's darling, watched his charm get shredded in real time. Rogan didn't care about Hollywood's unwritten rules. He thrives on calling it like he sees it, and this time, he saw a guy who gambled his legacy and lost. Online, the takes multiplied, fans cackling at memes of Deadpool crying, others raging that Rogan kicked a man while he was down. But here's the thing. Joe's rant didn't just humiliate Ryan, it flipped the script. Suddenly, Baldoni wasn't just the feud's underdog, he was the guy who outlasted the king. And Rogan made sure everyone knew it. Reynolds couldn't hide from that kind of spotlight, and the fans weren't far behind. Fans are furious, and Baldoni's quietly winning. Joe Rogan's roast didn't just sting Reynolds, it unleashed a tidal wave online. Deadpool diehards flooded X, screaming that Ryan's irreplaceable. Nobody else can sling sarcasm and slice throats like him. Baldoni is Deadpool? That's a rom-com reject, not a superhero. One viral post raged, racking up thousands of likes. Petitions popped up, begging Marvel to keep Reynolds, with fans swearing they'd boycott if Justin took the mask. But not everyone's crying for Ryan. Some are eating it up, posting clips of Nicepool with captions like, "Karma's got a man bun now." The split's real. Half the internet's mourning a legend, the other half's cackling at his crash. Industry folks aren't staying quiet either. Whispers from Hollywood say studios are spooked. Reynolds went from golden ticket to hot potato overnight. Nobody wants their project tangled in this feud. One insider dished, hinting big names are dodging Ryan until the dust settles. Brands he's tied to? They're stepping back, keeping their logos out of the blast zone. Meanwhile, Baldoni's getting a glow-up nobody saw coming. A year ago, he was the Jane the Virgin guy, or that director with the weepy flicks. Now, he's the underdog who took a swing at Hollywood's power couple and landed a hit. Buzz says he's fielding offers. Some even murmur Marvel's eyeing him for more than just Deadpool, maybe a whole new gig once this mess cools off. The contrast is wild. Reynolds, the guy who owned every room, is watching his shine fade fast. Fans turning, suits hesitating, memes piling up. Baldoni's riding the wave, keeping his mouth shut, but his profile soaring. Rogan's rant flipped the script, and the public's running with it. Some see Justin as a fighter who outsmarted a titan, others just love watching Ryan squirm. Either way, the court of opinion's in session, and it's not looking good for Deadpool's old king. But what's really at stake here? A $400 million lawsuit could change everything. By early 2025, the Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni feud wasn't just tabloid fodder, it was a courtroom cage match, and Ryan Reynolds was stuck in the middle. Baldoni didn't just deny Blake's claims of harassment, he flipped the table, suing her and Ryan for defamation and extortion, slapping a $400 million price tag on their alleged takedown plot. His side says they tried to ruin him, smearing his name, pushing studios to freeze him out, even strong-arming their agency to drop him. Blake and Ryan fired back, calling it a desperate lie, but the receipts are piling up, and it's ugly. Court's set for later this year, and nobody's backing down. Then there's Nicepool, the match that lit this powder keg. Baldoni's team isn't letting it go. They've got legal letters flying to Marvel and Disney, claiming Ryan's jab in Deadpool and Wolverine wasn't just petty, it was evidence of a calculated attack. They say he mocked Justin's look, his vibe, even his feminist cred, then had Blake voice the kill shot, Lady Deadpool taking out the caricature. It's bold and it's messy. Disney's sweating, lawsuits dragging their blockbuster into this. That's a nightmare they didn't sign up for. Baldoni's lawyer's on record. Ryan turned a movie into a weapon, and we've got the proof. If they win, that $400 million could gut Ryan and Blake financially. Maybe even sink their Hollywood clout for good. The stakes are insane. Reynolds could lose more than Deadpool. His whole empire's on the line. Baldoni's playing for keeps, too. If he proves this, he's not just cleared, he's golden. And Marvel? They're caught, wondering if backing Ryan was worth the heat. This isn't a slap fight. It's a war with cash, careers, and legacies up for grabs. And it all leads to one big question. Reynolds fell hard. Rogan laughed. And Baldoni rose. Where does it end? Ryan went from Deadpool's unstoppable king to a guy watching his legacy slip through his fingers, all because he backed Blake's fight and took a swing at Justin with Nicepool. That gamble didn't just cost him Marvel's trust, it gave Joe Rogan the perfect ammo to humiliate him in front of millions, turning a Hollywood titan into a viral joke. The fans are split, the studios are wary, and that $400 million lawsuit's still looming, threatening to bury Ryan and Blake deeper. Meanwhile, Baldoni's the wild card nobody bet on, quietly climbing from underdog to a name studios can't ignore, maybe even snagging Deadpool for himself. It's a reversal nobody saw coming. The cocky star's down, the punch-down director's up, and Rogan's cackle echoes over the wreckage. Is this the end of Reynolds' reign, or can he claw back? Will Baldoni wear the mask, or is this all just Hollywood smoke? One thing's clear, hubris took Ryan down and the story's far from over. What do you think happens next?